From CMC Media, this is the Crossroads. I'm Patrick Egan, publisher of the Agile Journal and CM Crossroads. Today we're talking with Lothar Schubert, Senior Director of Solutions Marketing for CollabNet. So welcome to the show, Lothar.
Thanks for having me.
Well, we're talking about what's going on in TeamForge today, and I'm really kind of curious about what trends and challenges and opportunities you see for enterprise development organizations today.
Sure. Well, Agile obviously has been a huge success. It's now the 10th anniversary of the Agile Manifesto. Recently, a survey that we conducted, about 26% of all participants had fully adopted Agile, and over 50% were in various stages, piloting, implementing, or having partial implementations of Agile. Now, companies often want to go to the next step and really scale vertically in terms of number of applications, number of applications, number of locations, and horizontally. That means not just code, but really form requirements over code to build and test. Mm-hmm. And they discover scaling Agile is actually not that easy, especially if there's highly distributed organizations, if they're in multiple levels of maturity within the organization itself, if there are multiple maturities and multiple methodologies deployed and different technologies. They discover they need a governance, a central governance across the organization, visibility across the organization, however, without impeding flexibility and autonomy. And they discover scaling Agile requires tools and infrastructure.
Gotcha. So what do you think, can you tell me that's unique about TeamForge and how it compares to other tools out there?
Yeah, sure. I mean, especially when it comes to scalability, enterprise scalability, really, TeamForge is very unique by providing both enterprise scalability and utmost flexibility. Mm-hmm. Scalability in terms of, number of developers that can effectively work against a single platform. We talk about 100,000, 10,000, 50,000 users, potentially 1 million artifacts, multiple locations. So it's really pure scalability and really completeness, which goes with scalability across software delivery, across document management, collaboration, and social infrastructure, and have it very manageable. So that is the scalability, and together with this comes the flexibility. Any methodology, sure, Agile, but any Agile, also hybrid, also waterfall methodologies. Any technology, be it Java, be it Ruby, be it any other technology, such as .NET, for example, and deployment in the cloud or on premises. And if you pair this with CollabNet's leadership in Subversion, be it the Apache Subversion founder and the key corporate sponsor, and the leadership in Agile transformation with coaching and training services, over 10,000 Scrum trainers actually, Scrum Masters are being trained by CollabNet. So that's what companies go for TeamForge.
Okay. So, I know that 6.1 is just out, or maybe just coming out in beta, but what can you tell me about what's new in the latest release?
Yeah. TeamForge 6.1 just came out in general availability, so it's available fully to customers. It actually has been a major release for CollabNet, and more importantly, for our customers. It specifically, in particular, addresses the notion of scaling Agile by having codified best practices that we had collected over time from Fortune 500 companies. We observed, we worked with companies that had implemented Agile and other methodologies, and we took those best practices and codified them into the platform and really delivered innovation on multiple fronts. One side is in terms of really managing volume. For example, Subversion replication to really overcome any bandwidth limitations for geographically distributed coding and software delivery. Second, also the whole manageability of security, for example, is a very effective role management for Subversion, but also in general for software release cycles. Strong workforce enforcement. And then the whole notion of social coding, or actually social development, has been built into the architecture, which what we say is a social really architecture. By having project microsites brought in from open source world, now brought also into the private enterprise, the ability to map essentially product and business lines to microsites which drive communities for individual projects is very powerful. We also brought a completely new reporting elements, reporting and dashboard elements into the platform to really provide governance and visibility.
Okay. Well, I heard you talk about subversion replication. Can you expand on that a little bit? Tell me what that's all about.
Sure. I mean, in a nutshell, it provides for Subversion lightning fast performance and also high availability, no matter where you are as a developer or as a project manager, for example. Doesn't matter in which location of the world. I mean, Subversion in general scales very well. No surprise, there are like 5 million developers now really on Subversion, but there are area networks, world area networks, inefficiencies, right? If you're highly distributed organizations, assume, for example, a developer just gets onboarded to a new project and wants to dump and download the entire code library. This developer might be sitting there for hours, sometimes even for days, just getting this code. Obviously, that's very frustrating and not very inefficient. Now, what TeamForge 6.1 provides, now they leverage the open and published APIs from Subversion for replication and brought them into the product. And also provides the entire management framework to very rapidly provision new Subversion repositories. This way, you have now very fast access, doesn't matter from where in the world.
All right. Well, you talked about an expansion of continuous integration into operations, and it sounds a little bit like DevOps. So is that just analysts talking, or what's that all about?
Right. No, it's not like analyst talk. I mean, if you look at the Agile manifesto, really the early and continuous delivery of valuable software is one of the key elements of the Agile manifesto. So no wonder that continuous integration and test-driven development and DevOps is really happening. And we actually have customers really implementing this, is gaining really unprecedented efficiencies by doing this. It's quite interesting to see that development now, having implemented Agile, is often ahead of the curve, ahead of IT operations and other parts of the organization. And certainly TeamForge helps to really very effectively automate those processes from code to build, to test, and even deployment into operations. On one side, by being able to leverage also tools such as Hudson or HP Quality Center, which might be deployed in organizations to really orchestrate continuous integration, but also for a developer to ad hoc, when needed, provision instantly servers in the cloud for build servers, for test servers, for run servers. So the functionality that we call app management functionality is completely built into the release management software of TeamForge to enable this. Now, one other important point, it's not just about automating, it's also about information. I call it continuous information, right? And that's really what it's all about. It's about closing the loop between development, build, and test to answer questions such as which requirements have been addressed by a certain build, for example. What fails really, and how does code behave in production? What fails, and how do we take action on this? And really make insights actionable. For example, if there's a failure in production or in test or in build, automatically generate an artifact from the defect track, for example.
All right, well, let's switch gears for a second and talk about your other announcement. I heard about your 10 free user license option. Does this mean that you're giving away software for free now?
Yes, indeed. TeamForge is now available also for free. And you're correct with the 10 user limitation, but it's available absolutely for use in production. It has been just released very recently, but we see a very strong uptake. And it's really also lessons learned from Subversion Edge, right? CollabNet launched Subversion Edge about a year ago, which is the certified binaries for Subversion, plus a web management console, plus automated installation updates services. And we had so far over 24,000 download, and not just downloads, actually active productive usage of Subversion. So we see a very high demand from this, from the download options. And now we provide this also with TeamForge, the full solution, full ALM, not just a trial. And it's available on all the platforms that we have, Linux, Windows, or VMware.
Well, great. It's great to hear about, and I can't wait to try it out here in our shop as well, too. And if you'd like to hear more about CollabNet, you can visit them on the web at collab.net. And thanks again for visiting me today, Lothar.
Thank you, Patrick.
Sure. And this has been The Crossroads. If you'd like to hear more video podcasts like this, you can visit us on the web at cmcrossroads.com.